Hello, everybody. It's Mrs. Wallace. How are you? I just want to just do a quick video that might help you out with not only the project that was assigned yesterday, but also just getting down the timeline of the Haitian Revolution, just kind of getting a sense of some of the parts. So if you were taking some notes through the slideshow, and I will post this for you. So I'll post it under the Haitian Revolution project, the Revolutions project. That way you can access it there. But that way you can kind of continue your notes and just get a sense of what the Haitian Revolution is all about, even though your project is really looking at the causes and the effects. Because it's many different things, sometimes that means the causes fit in many different things. It's not just the beginnings of a group of people who want an end to slavery or better conditions for their work. They also start to develop what becomes like an independence movement. This is not a revolution that starts out as an independence movement, but ends up very much as an independence movement. So over the next couple minutes, we'll try to make that clear. How does that happen? So first of all, happy birthday to Akathri. You are not in class today, so we can't sing. Tomorrow we can, so enjoy the day. If we remember where we were at in class, one of the things that we looked at was how there is a movement within this more radical National Assembly in Paris in 1794 to actually ratify an end to slavery in all of the French colonies. And this gets back to Haiti. And in a lot of ways, this is an incredible success of the Haitian Revolution, is an end to slavery, which we don't see again in Haiti. Okay. And it's significant because it goes beyond Haiti. We also had looked at a source together, a source written by Toussaint Louverture. He is somebody who is really pushing and, as a military leader, fighting to ensure an end to slavery. One of the things that he describes as some of the causes of the Haitian Revolution, he talks a lot about the specific groups and some of their leanings. So he talks about whites, he talks about men of color, and he talks about blacks. So he's talking about people who are enslaved, he's talking about free people of color, and then the white planters. And he says, the whites were erecting another form of government upon the rubble of despotism, and the men of color and the blacks united themselves. So he saw this happening kind of as a unification of two groups that could then push toward, greater equality and maybe emancipation, and that would be, pushing. He does, however, note that there was a intention to separate men of color from the cause of the black slaves in accordance with Machiavelli's principle of divide and rule. He suggests that the French create the April Decree and the free people of color accept the April Decree, and this then pushes the free people of color closer to equality, but doesn't move the dial at all on black slaves. And so that's one of the things Toussaint Louverture puts his finger on, and I think it's useful to kind of look at some of the issues that are creating alliances or a lack of alliance between various groups. A couple of additional things is there will be the impact of Spain. Spain does kind of push its way into the Saint-Domingue colony, as will Britain, and they both dominate different parts, Spain in the north and Britain in the south. I think we noted this in class, and it was part of a video. Britain really connects with the white planters who really fight on behalf of the British to try to get out the French and keep the British in to what could potentially be a colony that is led by white planters. In the case of Spain, Spain will support the enslaved people and argue that they will give freedom. So we see a lot of people like Toussaint Louverture fighting for Spain. Over the course of the end of slavery, Louverture will switch his entire campaign toward France. So fighting, in a sense, to stay as a colony of France, but now a France that is guaranteeing no more slavery. And so this is kind of what becomes, opportunity, in a sense, for the campaign of emancipation and the revolt of enslaved persons and the French government. It's kind of like got this potential to jive together. Leovitor is named the commander of the Western Province, and he is really bringing a great deal of military skills because now this is going to be a war to push out Spain and push out Britain, and this happens. So Leovitor is like significant in his military conquest. He's really fighting on behalf of the French, and he not only gets back Saint-Domingue, but also Santo Domingo. So the Spanish part of the island territory is conquered by France. So now France has this entire space. And, in this military campaign, there is some independent mindedness of Toussaint Louverture, who is going to become, more and more focused on ways in which he might become the next ruler of France. There are competitors, so there is a sense where at the end of the 1700s, there is actually a bit of a civil war. Toussaint Louverture is challenged by André Rigaud, who is really representative of the free people of color. He is part of that group, and most of the soldiers who fight for him are really seeking something different than maybe rights for enslaved persons. So we get kind of two alternatives of what Saint-Domingue might look like, but Leovitor largely wins against the competition, and he will invade the south. He teams up with a general, his lieutenant. He's a general, his lieutenant Dessalines, and together they really emerge victorious. And we get this opportunity, in a sense, for Leovitor to be the leader of Saint-Domingue. What happens next? So some of what you were asked to check out yesterday in class is the perspectives activity that's in the choices packet. There is a graphic organizer that goes along with this, and it's a really good idea to put some notes down in that. This is honestly not a graded part of your notes, but it could be useful to read over the choices perspective section. The idea here is to kind of give you a sense of the variety of directions that Saint-Domingue could have gone in, meaning that there's like opposition and a debate of sorts, that's happening within the society. One issue of opposition is in Saint-Domingue. We have individuals like Toussaint Louverture, who want to build the colonial economy, essentially want to maintain Saint-Domingue's relationship with France, maintain its position largely as a sugar colony, not with slavery, but with a plantation economy and a production of indigo and sugar and coffee and that sort of thing. There's other groups of people who would like to reclaim the land, take away the plantations, take away any relationship with France, and largely make the land small farmers where people can sustain and grow their own food. So that's an issue that's being fought in Saint-Domingue. In France, we have the rise of Napoleon, and we see descriptions of debates about invading and reestablishing slavery in Saint-Domingue, or accepting the leadership of Louverture. And people actually debate, even though we know in the end Napoleon will come down on the side of reestablishing slavery, and the French will send troops to Saint-Domingue. There are some historians who really suggest that, there is some indecisiveness by Napoleon. He's not so sure what to make of Toussaint Louverture, and perhaps sees him as somebody who might be compatible to France's needs, right? And how and why that changes. What is it that essentially occurs? So Louverture's vision really includes this economic prosperity, slaves returning to the field, not as slaves, but as workers. Lots of people don't like these ideas. We also see Louverture become somebody who is fairly supportive of the white planters, and also somebody who maybe is a little secretive. That gains him a great deal of critics, okay? He also is accepting French rule, another thing that gains him some critics. In the case of Napoleon and Louverture start to kind of react to each other. Leovitor will create his own constitution in 1801, and this will be a primary source to check out. This constitution, on some levels, is significant. It means no slavery ever again in San Domingue. There's also a, kind of preventing of discrimination by skin color. But at the same time, there are some things that Leovitur does. He will, for example, ban the religious practice of voodoo. He will make it difficult for anyone else to rule. It's essentially him as ruler for life. And this is a challenge to Napoleon, who then gets involved. And it's also the Constitution creates a challenge to many of the people in Saint-Domingue. This creates critics, of Toussaint Louverture as essentially becoming a dictator. Okay. A second primary source that you can check out is the expedition to Saint-Domingue. This is written by Napoleon. So kind of a little bit of the interaction between Napoleon and Toussaint Louverture over this creation of a constitution. And we see Napoleon send troops, and he sends troops with a family member, General Leclerc. And Napoleon's goal is really capture the leaders, disarm the masses, and reimpose the plantation system. Essentially, it becomes about reinstalling slavery. It's not exactly clear initially that that's going to happen, but over the course of the fighting between the French and some of the individuals that were fighting for Toussaint Louverture, there becomes a lot of challenging entanglements. Some of the men who were fighting for Louverture actually joined the French. So they are fighting, for French colonial rule and beginnings of like plantation system back, but maybe no slavery. And then there's some people who are fighting the French. They see it as some sort of, an army that is pushing in and needs to go. There is some promises made. At the end of the day, Louverture is actually captured by Leclerc, sent to the Alps. He dies a horrible death in prison. And groups of people who are not in favor of France, really groups of people who want to reclaim the land, groups of people who are really largely not in favor of anything that Toussaint Louverture wanted, not in favor of anything Napoleon wants, they start to become the bigger group. And Leclerc, for the French, will use a great deal of horrific genocidal tactics to reduce this population. And this creates more and more masses of people to join the rebel group and fight against France. Okay. By the end of the Haitian Revolution in 1804, Saint-Domingue is actually declared independent and Dessalines is crowned emperor. At that time, there is a pushing out completely of the French, who lose badly because Dessalines will continue to fight, because many of the enslaved persons fear a movement back to slavery, and they will unite and ultimately push out the French. Dessalines does create a Declaration of Independence, another primary source that's useful to look at. This is now a Declaration of Independence from France, and it's a total rejection of French colonialism. Sends a big shout out to other societies around the world that are colonized by France or other countries like the British. It also is going to, have impacts on abolitionist movements all around the world, such as in Britain and in the United States. The country is recognized as a refuge for enslaved people of all kinds. So you can look at the language of the Declaration of Independence, compare it to, for example, the American Declaration of Independence or the Declaration of the Rights of Man. You also do see violence where white French foreigners are now targeted and removed from the society. Slavery is eradicated, and we enter a period of an independent Haiti. So now we have the Society of Haiti, but a great deal of the next, kind of phase of this revolution is the treatment of the country of Haiti by international players. So treatment by France, treatment by the United States. Some of that is important to take in because the effects of the Haitian Revolution economically, politically, socially are very tied to the experience that Haiti has as an independent country within kind of a global context. Okay, so that's important to check out. The Choices packet will help you there. Okay, be well.